1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Banjo land, Mike Heading here, coming to you today with the old gospel song, Cryin' Holy Unto the Lord. This song always makes me think of the classic J.D. Crowe and the New South album. I believe it was called Rounder 0044. It was self-titled, it had a brown cover, absolute must-listen-to bluegrass. It had Ricky Skaggs, Tony Rice, Bobby Sloan, I think, playing bass, and J.D. Crowe. I think Jerry Douglas might have been on a couple of the tracks as well. Every song on it is phenomenal. It's got Old Home Place, Sally Gooden, Rock Salt and Nails, Summer Wages, I think Some Old Day, a whole bunch of great songs. Definitely check out that album. It's one of the quintessential bluegrass albums of all time. They were all in their prime, and this song was on there, which makes me think of that album. I didn't work up J.D. Crowe's solo exactly, but I wanted to do like a Crowe-inspired solo. He's one of my all-time favorite banjo players. I think he's one of those guys that took Earl Scruggs' playing, learned all of it, and then moved it another step forward and put his own little twist on it that I always thought was so cool. So I wanted to work up two solos to this song that were kind of J.D. Crowe inspired. We'll break down both solos note for note. I'll break down all the tricky licks and then let you in a little bit on my thought process on why I chose this lick versus this lick and this roll versus this roll. We'll dive a little bit more into depth in that as well. And then in the backup section, we'll break down some more classic down the neck backup that you can use for the song, and then a little bit more advanced Scruggs style up the neck backup that I use all the time, that I learned a lot of it from listening to J.D. Crowe. A lot of bluegrass album band style backup. We'll break that down as well in the backup section. This song is also, I did it in the key of A with capo 2, but you could play it in G, you could play it in B flat, you could play it in B, wherever you feel comfortable. I just thought A was a nice key. I think that's where they did it on the album. So let's jump into these two solos for Cryin' Holy Unto the Lord. Let's get into it. Alright, let's start breaking down this intermediate level solo to Cryin' Holy Unto the Lord. Let's play the first 8 measures into the very beginning of measure 9, which will be like halfway through the verse part, through the first solo rather, and then we'll start breaking it down. Here we go. Couple times, do it a little slower. And a little faster. So this is going to be stay pretty close to the melody for this first solo, and we're going to stay in pretty much Scruggs or J.D. Crowe style. You know, J.D. Crowe is really great at taking classic kind of bluegrass Scruggs style licks, modifying them very slightly to kind of make them his own, and using classic bluegrass licks as a way to interpret a melody. So that's something I always associate obviously with Earl Scruggs and with J.D. Crowe. You know, J.D. Crowe's kind of, I think of him as like the next level past what Scruggs developed. J.D. Crowe learned all the Scruggs licks, and then took it that one step further by just modifying some of the licks very slightly. That's what we're going to talk about for this lesson. So let's start with the pickup in measure 1, and we're going to do like a rolling pickup. So B1 is going to be a rest, and then we're going to do a 2-3 hammer on with a forward roll, strings 3, 2, 1, thumb, index, middle, obviously. Back to the open 3rd string, and then down to the 2nd fret. Kind of basically like just a different way to play something like, you know, just like a little open walk up. This is kind of more like a rolling pickup. And then we're going to pinch in measure 2. So I'm using my index and middle finger on the 3rd string and 1st string there. So we'll just practice that a few times. So we have 1. Give that pinch some pop too. I like giving that a little accent. Again, that's the downbeat of the, you know, the measure 1 is the pickup. So that downbeat pinch on measure 1 is kind of like a pow, which kind of sets the tempo, kind of adds some excitement to your solo. That's a rolling pickup I like to use a lot. And then you can either use your second finger, or I'm going to use my third finger, and we're going to slide from 3 to 5, just do like a bluesy slide. So I'm doing strings 4, 3, 1, 5, 3, 1, 2 forward rolls. And another thing I like about this song is it kind of modulates between like major sounds, you know, and it has like you kind of have a little bit of that bluesy quality too. That's what, you know, some songs kind of pick one side. They're either like happy major or bluesy. And what I like about this song is Crow would kind of, you know, hint at a little bit of both. So instead of doing like a 2-5 slide there like you could, which would be a nice variation, but we're going to just add that third fret, which just makes it a little bit bluesier. And then measure 3, open third string, and then an open 2 hammer on with 2 forward rolls again, 4, 3, 1, 5, 3, 1. So not too hard there, just classic bluegrass. I like giving that hammer on a little accent too. So we have. You just practice looping measure 3. And then measure 4, move your middle finger up to the second fret of the third string and play thumb middle with your right hand and then slide. 3, 2, 1, 5, 2, 1. A lot of forward roll to start. Remember, we're getting that drive, that forward momentum going. Very classic Scruggs style. The other thing I like to do is accent that first part of that measure too. So you have. Let's play those first 4 measures. Here we go. A little faster. And then a classic Scruggs style lick, 2, 3 hammer on with a forward reverse roll. And then open third string into measure 6. So that was measure 5. You could also do that with a slide if you wanted to. Remember, get those pull-offs to really pop. Crow and Scruggs obviously had great pull-offs. Another person I think of when I think of those great pull-offs is Terry Bauckham. Really pull back on the string. You want that little bit of a snap. And then that's into measure 6 is into a C chord, so go into your C. So when you do that pull-off, kind of roll into your C and then do an open 2 hammer on, but put your first finger down on the first fret of the second string as well. And then 2 forward rolls, 4, 3, 1, 4, 3, 1 are the strings. And then a forward reverse roll. So just kind of highlighting that C chord there. And then back to the open 4 string. And the melody is kind of. Something like that, right? So it's that crying holy unto the Lord. It just basically repeats that line twice. So. That's just a good classic C lick. And then right here we're going to do basically a modification of the Scruggs lick. So notice we didn't play the one middle finger. What would that be on beat 3? Normally that Scruggs lick would sound like this, right? Right there. So instead I'm hitting my middle finger. That's how you would normally do it. So here's a modification that Crow would do a lot that I think is so cool. We're going to take out that middle finger on beat 3, so it sounds like this. So, because I think the secret's in the right hand, so watch if I do it with the middle finger like Scruggs would normally do it, and Crow obviously did it too that way, but again, it's just a modification. have... So it's not as syncopated, right, when you do it that way. But watch, if you take out that middle finger, then you have... So it adds this interesting right hand syncopation. It also kind of helps bring out the hammer on, I found. But you can add the middle finger if you want to. Obviously you could do that with the slide as well. And then we're just going back to the open third string for measure 9. That's all we're doing there for the first 9 measures. Not too hard. So the other thing I like to do is when I do that little hammer-on in measure 5 into the pull-off lick, I accent this note in measure 6, which gives me time to play the next lick.